This episode is intended exclusively to provide information and education to help individuals better understand cycles. However, this information is not be construed as professional advice as to the buying and selling of securities or other investment instruments. In no event does the host express any opinion with respect to or make recommendations regarding the purchase or sale of any particular investment instrument. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading securities. Buying and selling decisions are solely within the personal discretion of each individual.
From the mind of Lars von Thienen, the most advanced cycle analysis, hot off the press.
Where are the cycles? Let's scan for some cycles. Where are the cycles? What asset do we analyze today? Okay, just joking. Welcome to another episode of Cycles TV. We have Monday. We have time to analyze some assets. Today we talk about Ethereum. Let's call it a crypto session. And there's a special reason for that. And as I said, doing this in the beginning, it's not just a joke. You should always have your plan how to scan for different assets. So the cycle universe or the asset universe is so big. I think if you know how to scan your personal universe of assets, then maybe there's always a cycle somewhere, in some place, in some time frame, in some asset you're analyzing. So said that, I would recommend scan or find a routine to daily or in your time interval you're preferring, do regular scans to check the situation of different cycles, because there's not always a cycle there. So just one favorite asset and then always trying, so what's the cycle today? Maybe there's nothing. So maybe there's another asset. But enough that said. So maybe think about how you approach this. How do you build your universe of assets, which you then regularly update on cycles? Maybe just a question, or maybe this gives some thinking around. So Ethereum, the crypto world. Let's get to work. Let's bring in the charts. So here is Ethereum daily time frame. Let's start with a simple view. We have the price information here, and we're moving down now for a longer period with some ups and downs in the move of Ethereum. So first, as always, we need to have a look into the spectrum, which is here listed down below. There are some cycles which could become interesting, but I think the most interesting, which pops out also from the shape in the spectrum, and we're always looking for nice peaks, nice shapes, which means to the left and to the right of the peak in the spectrum, you have a clear separation. So you don't want to have a lot of peaks with similar amplitude to the left, so that the left and right shoulder maybe are not there, like these two ones here. These two ones are not perfect because these are just two little blips here, but the separation between both is not as clean. So here we have a clean separation. It goes even close to zero. So that's why this cycle, not only because of the shape, also because of the Bartels and the strength value, this looks like an interesting cycle with a length of 281 trading days here in that perspective. So we have a cycle of 281 trading days. Let's use that first as an overlay. And by the way, as always, this is also the cycle. So if you would have no clue or no idea about how to pick a cycle from the spectrum, this is where our ranking algorithm helps you to find the best cycle. So this is ranked as cycle number 1. You should pick that even if you have no clue what the cycle analyzer is doing. Let's overlay that here to the chart, and now we can see the rhythm of those peaks. As always, I recommend have a closer look at the swings and the underlying profitability or general alignment, the timing alignment. We are looking about alignments in time. So we check out, so here's the major low aligned with this cycle low here. So let's closely mark it. So here we have the low aligned here. So then the cycle top here aligned with price. Then we go down into kind of low. Then here at this point in time, not quite perfect, but I think then we have the topping period here at this time. And here you need to be careful, not overvaluing the amplitude, because the amplitude just gives us the idea when to expect a change in trend, but not what price magnitude the next move might help. So that's why this could look like, the cycle is off, but no, if you see the relative information here, it was exactly at that high here. So here's the next low assigned here. So here's somewhere the topping period assigned with this high. So we can connect the changes in trend here with that information and then having a nice view here. I mean, the smaller ones are not as easy, here in this period here, but even the smaller ones seem to have a vibration between price and changes in trend. So therefore, I mean, that's just a visual check, but I like to have this visual confirmation before I go even deeper, also with a kind of composite. So, but it's just a quick check. There are other procedures to do this in a mathematical way, but I think it gives you more confidence if you can visualize that also. So, in addition, what you also can do, and maybe this also, if you use the tools, there are a lot of hidden features and functions which we always improve while we go, and maybe you have not discovered those, but you might now realize that we have these 3 dots here, so you can always add more features to the chart if you want to. So just a right click will reveal there's an info box. For today, let's just talk about the info box, and the info box pops up and additional information. What I just want to highlight here, and this is what we just did visually a second ago, it gives you also a measure how profitable this cycle would have been in the past by trading the swings you've just seen on the chart. So just selling the top and buying the bottom would have given you a profitability of 75%. So not each swing was profitable, but at least you see the majority, and at least it gives you an edge. Everything above 50 is an edge already in the market. You should never trade one single cycle just blindly, but you have an edge. So that's what this cycle shows us here. So now let's look what is the second interesting cycle before. And I think you realized that, for sure. This cycle is currently in an important bottoming condition. So that's why the scanning algorithm. So where's an interesting cycle? That's a condition we are looking for. So we are not in a cycle. We are at a situation or timing opportunity where another change in trend could be expected, for sure. So that's the longest cycle here in the spectrum. So now the second cycle which could be used is here. It's not quite obvious, but you might find it in the spectrum seen here between those here. So this is exactly here we see it. And the reason is again, let's zoom in a little bit here. So you see here we have, again, this is the, let's start here. So the first one, then let's not use these 2 ones here, and then going lower from the amplitude. So you can always start also from the amplitude. This is the next one which will come in, just getting the amplitude down. And this cycle has, again, a very nice separation to the left and to the right, and it is a very sharp peak. So this one will start to hurt if you want to sit on that spectrum here in the lower range. This is the cycle which you will feel if you want to sit on that spectrum area. So therefore, it is dominant. The Bartle score is not perfect, but above 60. The strength is even higher than this one here, so we have better strength. So therefore, this is the next possible cycle which should be taken into account if you do this kind of cycle analysis. So we're talking here about 114 trading days, and it's also shown here in the table. It would be the second recommendation from our ranking algorithm. First, let's have also a single look at this cycle here. So it's much shorter. So you see a lot of more swings than just with the longer one. I will not get into the alignment of the manual drawing here. What I will now quickly do is I will open the info box, show you some statistics here. You see also this cycle has also a profitability score above 70, which is quite nice. And there's another feature. Maybe some use it already. I have not talked so much on that, but it will also open this cycle highlighter at the bottom of the chart, which is also a different visualization of how good the fit between the price component assigned to this length. So the light blue is the real price component according to that cycle length. And the red one is the theoretical cycle. And if you see a good fit or a similarity between those two, then it means that this cycle is active, which in the past 3 iterations we have now, as seen here. And if you have a longer picture into the past, you see even in the end of 2021, this was also a very valid, high valid cycle at these times. Then it faded a little bit out during the year of 2023, and now it has come into rhythm again. So this is a view which helps you to see at which point in time that cycle flattens out. So the amplitude has not really an impact on price. I mean, the cycle is still there. It is detected by the spectrum, but the amplitude modulation might be low at certain times. And at these times, you cannot take profit from that cycle because the impact will be so low, it's just faded. And at other given times, these cycles really make a difference. They have an impact. You can see that cycle in the price performance. And with the view of that cycle highlighter, you can identify those times when that cycle is on and when it's even more off. The spectrum per se will not show you that information. The spectrum just shows you, this length for that cycle is there in the time frame we analyzed. But having a closer look at the cycle highlighter, which will pop up if you open the info box, you see the profitability of that cycle, simple trading, and you see the cycle highlighter, which gives you an idea about the amplitude and frequency modulation of the past, which reveals additional information, like I showed you now with the amplitude topic. Okay, so hopefully you got it. It's an additional important feature we have embedded here into our platform. And for sure, by the way, credit goes to Brian Millard, because he invented the idea of a cycle highlighter. So it's not our idea. This is coming from Brian Millard, who tried to use all the knowledge of Hearst and put something on top of that. If you research on Brian Millard on your own, you will find his additional contributions to the work of Hearst. And the cycle highlighter, maybe it's not so prominent, but in his books, there are some small chapters on the cycle highlighter. So that's the source. So also make reference to the source. But where we are today, and I think that's the point I want to make here. So let's now move out the info box. Here we are just looking at the cycle with the length of 114. And now it gets even more interesting, and I hope now you got the point where I'm looking for important cycles. We have now 2 cycles which are currently bottoming. So we're coming into a cycles within cycles situation, which gets interesting when different dominant cycles come to the same conclusion or synchronize. Yeah, these cycles are now synchronizing currently their low timing, which are the important points in time then when you see important changes in trend. When one cycle makes a bottom, maybe the other cycle is currently moving up, you won't see these extreme movements. But if cycles align, then it gets even more interesting. So now we have two. And if we activate those two cycles now, I mean, that's then what you see in a composite, for sure. They form the same low here, but now you see the low gets even more prominent in that analysis. If we take these two cycles into account with this composite view, so this bottom gets even more interesting from a visual perspective. As you know, never use timing on your own. We need to add some technical information. We use the cyclic tuned RSI, which is embedded here. Let's put it on. And you see another interesting topic, which I always highlight. The most interesting situations come when the signal line of the cyclic tuned RSI, so the relative strength indicator with the adaptive bands, crosses from below the lower band to the upside, which is close to. Yeah, so we are close to generating also that kind of signal from the technical cyclic situation. So now we have two cycles, one technical condition which comes into play. So it gets even more attention required. And now last but not least, that's not everything. And maybe I would like to ask you, let me see, yeah, we have some viewers out there. So in front of the screen, now there's a question for you. And I'm always looking at the chat section, so maybe you can answer that in the chat. So let's clean up a little bit the chart before I will raise that question. Let's fade out the cycles here for a moment. I will just bring the cursor to the current situation. And now the question. What are you seeing besides the information I just showed you? And it's on the screen. You will find it right away in front of you. There's even another information which is interesting and fascinating. And I give you now 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 10 minutes, or I will grab a beer now. Or coffee, to be honest, coffee. And I'm awaiting your answer in the chat. So I will not continue before you tell me the answer. So I'm watching. I'm now making here a smooth session and waiting for your answer in the chat. Yes, thank you. It took 20 to 30 seconds. Brett, you have won the game. Lots of green cycles. Exactly, this is what I wanted you to spot. So the winner for today is Brett. And exactly what you're seeing here. Look at the right side of that cycle scanner screen. If you check the color coding, of the cycle lengths, so there's always the cycle length shown here, and you see it is always highlighted by the current status of that cycle. If it's pointing down, pointing upwards, so pointing upwards is green, and in amber situation with a green dot, which we have here, is signaling that this cycle will roll over to the positive. So these two cycles will become green very slowly. This one will also become green. So we've just have 2 or 3 cycles out of 10 to 20 which are green. So I mean, I've shown you these two and the cyclic condition, and if you now turn on everything, which I never recommend, by the way, to really use, but it will just now show you, if you turn on all cycles, and the key is here, you see how they synchronize now into a key low timing information, which we had the last time at that low here back in 2021. then if, I mean, that's the composite out of all, not really usable. But here is another synchronization of all cycles we even could find in Ethereum. They seem to synchronize to a low, which is right now in front of us. So that's the key message for today. And I think that's not easy to spot always, but these are the conditions you should look out for if you do your cycle analysis. And Ed, yes, thank you also for bringing that in. All cycles turn green. Yeah, and you always, we also owe you a new T-shirt from the Foundation for the Study of Cycles. So Ed and Brett, that rhymes even. I mean, we're talking of cycles here. Ed and Brett are the winners for today. But okay, so that's the topic for today. You could even now send in all your questions you have. I will stay here for some minutes, but that was the main objective for today. I mean, 20 minutes, the message is out. I think the resume does not need to be summarized again. I just need to say this is pure cycle analysis. This has nothing to do with the asset, the macroeconomic conditions out there for crypto as an asset. So yeah, take it all with a piece of salt. Never just base any investment decision just purely on time cycles. But I hope that's anyhow clear for us here on the channel. Yeah, please excuse Francesco or even Dina. I will not bring in other assets here because this would explode the time commitment. I'm now also having 20 minutes on other assets. The weekly cycles is a topic. I think that's a valid question as we're talking about Ethereum for today. I tried that and I don't have enough data for Ethereum, to be honest. So if anyone has a valid data source with enough historical information, which would give us a valid weekly series, we could do that. I mean, I could open that, but I would not use it. Let me show it to you just in a second. So, and if someone out there knows a data source with long-term Ethereum data, which goes beyond, so I will just prepare the screen and then share it with you in a second. Okay, here's the screen. And as you see, we already get a warning here. So the data I currently could get goes back to 2017. And if we aggregate that into weekly data, we just have around 300 to 400 bars for analysis. And I would count, this is not enough to have a valid spectrum analysis to trust cycles for that given length. So, Mark, that's the key point. The point of analyzing the weekly is absolute valid. I just don't have enough data, at least for cycle analysis. I mean, for technical analysis, you could do this anyhow. But that's my answer. Otherwise, I would love to do that. Cycles within cycles. Could you align volume, price, and time cycles to align? I cannot do it now, but I like the question on volume, because what we're doing and what I did also in the past, analyzing volume, and you could also build volume-based charts. So, I mean, right now we are just time-based charts, and it is very interesting to create volume-based charts, and then you could do the same analysis and analyze cycles in volume. Yeah, so at, I don't know, 10K of volume is reached, you create another price bar. So not measured in time, measured in the amount of volume which has been traded. That's really interesting. We don't have that kind of series available for our cycle scanner, so it needs a little bit more manual preparation. But Brad, so it's also an invitation. If you have data on volume-based data for Ethereum, it is really worth analyzing cycles on volume-based charts. So that's, even though we can't do it now today, but the direction is really worth the effort, Brad, if you invest in that. Yeah, Dina, I understand that point. Natural gas, I owe you an update on that, to say it that way. Natural gas made really big moves, and we need to see the position. But I need to also dedicate it in an additional session. So let me think about it if we can do it next week, and then I will announce it upfront. Yeah, I think you made the point, like tick charts. Yeah, volume charts. Yes. So just reminds me on, we need to find a way to bring it into the cycle analyzer, because it works. The 3-dot bullet. Yes, correct. It's not limited. So this is this is a basic feature, which is, I think it should be available already. We just introduced it during the past days or weeks as a new feature. But short answer is yes, it is available to every member, starting from the basic membership. You have it. Yeah, tick-based chart, volume chart. So I see you are referring to the books and the knowledge I anyhow published on that. Yeah, but it needs more time. It really needs more time. So just referring to the questions on volume and tick-based charts. So I think I will, again, something for my to-do list to improve here. But I like that you give me a push, and that's why I also like being here, to listen to you, what you want to see. So you can be sure it will be taken on the priority up and down scaling, what I'm hearing here from you once a week. So therefore it's important for me to get your topics here. Okay, so let's call it a day. Let's call it a session. You have the analysis on Ethereum. And yeah, natural gas, volume tick charts. This is what I will take away maybe as another topic for the weeks to come. So stay safe. Have a nice week. See you soon. Please like, subscribe, give us a comment, tell your friend. Let's reach the world for cycle analysis.